Good morning, afternoon or evening. Today I've got a replay of a team game. I haven't played any team games for quite a while. Today we're playing with my two friends Platypus and Lionfang. They've been in a few videos already, and they do have a channel which I will link in the description. They've not been uploading, but if you spam comments on all their videos, tell them to upload, I'm sure they will. This is against, I think, another squad, because squad leaders are always red and pink. So you can see that the red here is SAS, and I assume he's got a full squad, but I'm really not sure, because you can see all the colours are together from his squad, so maybe, but I'm not 100% sure. And here's why this game gets interesting. Already two of our teammates have left, a third one just left now, and the chat gets quite strange later on, so I'm going to switch that off. But you can see I spawn here in the back line with Lionfang to my west, and then west of Lionfang is Platypus. To our south is another player here who will leave soon, and green in the north, who is Polish, I believe, and he does some interesting things as well. This game really is quite an interesting game, but for very strange reasons. You can see already three teammates down. It's already a 5v8, which is already pretty difficult, especially for us three who haven't played the game for a few weeks already, so definitely an interesting game. So you can see the first interesting part. Green worker rushes red here. He doesn't pull it off, obviously. He's got a bulwark and he knows how to repair. He's got warriors. So he wastes all his army, all his workers from here, sends them over. By this point also we've lost this teammate, and this guy just quits now. Now it is a 3v8, with the only damage being done by our teammates is taking his altar, down to half health. So now we're a 3v8 with us having to hold this quite wide choke point, and also the ocean, which will come in very important later. So by this point, a second attack from red is coming in. This is 13 minutes in. Platypus is just going Iron Age, and unfortunately he has Asian Spearmen against European Spearmen. The European Spearmen should win this, and we've also got Lions Spearmen somewhere here. I think I just saw them. Maybe he attacked with them, I can't remember. Well, they were here a second ago. And you can see my archers here as well. 25 archers coming in. So a bit of disruption to Platypus's economy, and a few dead workers, maybe 3 or 4 dead workers, nothing major. And our plan at this point was to build a big long Western Europe wall here. Probably not the most cost-effective thing, but it would hold them back until late medieval age, hopefully. And we were going to try and expand down here, and build towers along the coast to secure the coastline, but it is a really huge coastline, and our enemies do exploit that later on. You can see that the enemies are all, I think, going to medieval now. Most of them are doing something, at least, with red being the most aggressive. At this point I'm also going Eastern Europe now, and yep, some spam pinging there to tell us where to start the wall. And yeah, we're trying to do what we can to defend ourselves. And here's the Lions Spearmen. They go just a little bit late. Some pretty big fighting going on here. You can see this is about 5 minutes later. Lionfang's Spearmen with Platypus's Spearmen, and my archers are dead because I sent them in. I sent them in, I think, yeah, here you can see I managed to kill a few workers over here, waste some production time, and I'm killing quite a few workers over here as well. But I do miss micro. I just decide to, actually I don't miss micro, I decide to attack his heavy spearmen, because then that's less attacking our teammates. Managed to kill a few workers, not much over here because he had a lot more towers than I thought he did, but that's really the last counter-offensive of this game, unfortunately. You can see just a skirmish here, archers versus spearmen, and both sides taking casualties bit by bit, but nothing too major. You can see it's mostly dead spearmen from our side. It's realistically, it's just trying to buy time for these workers to build the wall. Probably should have started building it from the north as well, but you can't do everything. And you can see my archers are here to try and defend the wall while it's being built. I'm also setting up towers, and so is Lionfang. And we're really going for just holding this choke point, and then we kind of forget about the coast. But you can see that they've now got samurais and ashigaru, which in early medieval are very strong. And Platypus hasn't built any towers in his base, unfortunately. So the workers here are slowly going to get killed as the archers worn away. Towers are coming up, but you know, Platypus's base is now being destroyed by units. And I am making more archers. I am getting up to the next stage. Lion is also sending units, but the wasted economy and the loss of several workers, if not dozens of workers, does result in quite a setback for Platypus. And the wall is kind of stopped here. It's a substantial wall. It does like narrow the front line down to just this and this bit here, but it would have been brilliant if it could have extended further. You can see now that Red is moving towards Lionfang's base, but he has the heavy spin and Asian heavy spin, which just about managed to take out the most of the Ashigaru. And then there's just the samurai left now. Unfortunately, the workers here are mismicroed and die. And yeah, my archers are here now, and Lion is still spamming towers everywhere. When really it should have been Platypus spamming towers, but oh well. You can see the enemies have landed as well. Now they're making units over here, siege workshops, and they're preparing to attack us from the coast, which is our biggest problem, because now we have two front lines. While we could just about hold one front line, one choke point, now we have to hold this entire front here as well. And with Platypus's base being taken apart bit by bit, it's just becoming more and more difficult. I do send up an army of archers now and build barracks at the front line, and my goal here is just to spam infinite archers and catapults, which as Eastern Europe is pretty strong, even though it can't attack buildings. You can see here, each of these samurai is 80 iron each, and they managed to kill maybe 10 archers, 5 or 6 of those samurai, so that's a pretty good eco damage. Unfortunately, there's some longbows here as well, which means that the wall is just never going to get finished at this point. Yeah, I'm going to the late medieval. I think Lion is still early. Yeah, he's building up his workers again. And Platypus is obviously still early, losing most of his base and workers. It's a pretty major combat here. You can see swarms of longbowmen against my archers, and also squads, while trying to buy time for Lion to build up all of his towers, because we're trying to just build a wall of towers now, while Platypus rebuilds, and we do as much damage to them as we can, because food is infinite. You just need wood to make wheat, and then food is infinite, so spamming cheap archers and so on is kind of our goal. We're also making a bit of a fleet to sink their fishing fleet, to set them back a bit, slow down the waves of units they're sending in. You can see it's just endless. But here you can see now that this landing in the south has become way too advanced. They've got cannons, they've got stretlets. Wait, strelets, is it? Strelets, sorry. And I'm spamming units like militiamen and archers, just trying to lower their numbers, because the strelets are relatively expensive, I believe. If I go to them, I can't actually see the cost. I have to go to the there we are. Yeah, they're relatively expensive. They're twice as expensive on food, so 2 archers versus 1 strelet. To be honest, if I lost 3 archers per strelet, I think that'd still be worth it. And I do try here to snipe a few of his cannons, but his teammate has infantry here. They've also got stringolds, which are pretty good against my catapults, unfortunately. They do quite well here. This one manages to kill 2. Very worth it for them. And this catapult without support unfortunately dies as well. While microing 2 fronts and having to split resources and army, it's not very effective, because it's, you know, a 3v8. the noble fight. You can see that we have our Lion's navy now. He's destroying their ports. You really should have just been going for the fishing. You can see there's a lot of European fishing boats there, which they heavily rely on. And now they have IR. Yeah, I see Lion goes the wrong way. Unfortunately, we've missed quite a prize over here. In the south, we're still being pushed up, and this iron, which is kind of crucial right now for me, is about to be taken away. Look at my iron, it's slowly going down, just while I hit IR. Now that I'm Russia, I upgrade my workshop straight away, spending almost all my iron, because I'm trying to get those death scythes out, because this is easy to destroy with death scythes. You can see I've got a little army here, just stationed to defend this iron, ready to intercept them. And luckily I managed to actually destroy most of his strelets with just swarms of archers, towers, and a few catapults. But there's also rocket cannons, springholds, and the cannons, which are going to push us back. On the front line, it's not looking too good either. You can see the pikemen, longbowmen fighting ashigarus and one catapult. Because I'm mostly focusing on the southern front and trying to leave my teammates to this, but, you know, Platypus's base is being even more dismantled now. There's only a few houses left. And with such a low economy, he's just trying to build towers. West Europe towers, able to defend against almost everything other than artillery, really. And you can see they have cannons as well here, and a lot of pikemen, but they're not using them, luckily. Now you can see here that I'm attacking cannons, which are trying to defend themselves, and then, luckily for us, the controller of the main southern attack, the yellow player who is spamming cannons, leaves after I destroy his army, and an unfortunate beeline here to get to Lion's Town Hall is countered straight away with 2 death scythes. 26 kills and 10 kills. Just insane, the death scythes. They really do save the day here. I almost lose almost lose one here. He is left on 12 health, while they try to rush to the front line to defend Platypus's base. I was making rams here for some reason. I'm not exactly sure what was going through my mind there, because my iron is dead as well, and my base is now being attacked. I'm also making armoured cars to try and counter the soldiers and the swarms of infantry with my death scythes, and I'm trying to use my armoured cars to go round the back and destroy artillery. You can see that the East Asia player is still here with big armies, trying to push his way up north. See Lion's trying to get the metal nodes. And by this point we've also lost control of the seas. I think they're making a navy somewhere. Yeah, no, actually we still have the junks, that's good. I've got my death scythes here, just trying to get value. And I sent my ram in for some reason. I'm really not sure what I was doing here, but I almost managed to make it worth it, because the pikemen all attacked the ram, and I tried to get my death scythes in on it, but unfortunately I just about miss. Try to get the pikemen to come after my archers, and then wipe out half the pikemen that are dead. It's 40 kills each now. Even more death scythes, like 50 kills, just the 2 of them. And I am making more, I'm making armored cars. Problem is my metal is gone, and I haven't realised this metal's there to use. So there's also metal here, which I didn't see because it's in the enemy territory, just outside enemy territory. So lots of mistakes from our side, lots of small mistakes. Ignore this, this is a bit of a bug, but a pretty huge attack now. If you look at the minimap, you can see red and yellow and orange are they've now started sieging with trebuchets, machine gun towers, and they're building a vision tower as well. We have swarms of archers, we've got my death scythes. I think there's more somewhere on the way. Yeah, they'll be out soon. Unfortunately, I do lose these death scythes. The 2 original ones, because in this attack, this is just quite a lot, and Platypus should really have hidden his workers in the towers, but running away also works because we're now killing his units. You see the spams of onagers, it's just spam, a bit too much. And I'm still not harvesting iron here, because again my workers all died to an Asian attack here. He's just forming up more and more armies. The trebuchets are destroying our towers, so all of Lion's towers are now destroyed. It's just Platypus's towers left. Which is very risky. Now that my death sides are gone as well, really we only have the towers and a few archers. I should be making more archers. I do manage to get one armoured car out, but now I use that to counter these Chinese militiamen. It does a really good job against that because it's got high armour and the militiamen are just in small groups, so that works out quite well. So the death sites are out, here they are. 2 death sites, which need all my attention to be able to micro them. Unfortunately the enemy are also making armoured cars. And I do send militiamen out to get their death sites, because now they're making death sites as well. Which means that, you know, all our archer swarms and rocket cannon swarms are much less effective now. Yeah, but you can see now they're just massing a huge army, they're making planes as well. And my armoured car here is just trying to waste time, got a few kills. And the towers are we're trying to kill all these artillery as well, but you know, 2 death sites, and they've also got armoured cars, makes it very difficult. And they also get the wonder. You can see those onagers. The armoured car didn't even manage to get in and kill one of them before all the onagers fired. You can see the damage to the ground there where each shot landed. My archers are here because there was, I think, ships somewhere, that someone was saying there was ships. Also just swarming them up, protecting these rocket cannons as best I can, because they are only anti-armor, so they're dealing with the armored cars, but now the death sites come in and kill Platypus's workers, and also the rocket cannons. But I run in to block them with my archers, but the armored cars will fall back anyway. And you can see that, you know, even onagers struggle against the walls, so in the early medieval age, this would have worked quite well. But, you know, it's quite difficult to hold now when we're focusing on anti-infantry, and the enemy have tanks, they've got berthas, they've got death sites, they've got howitzers. I don't know what they're doing with the planes, I can't remember if they actually make planes. Another desperate rush here to Lion's base to snipe him. I do divert an armoured car to kill this artillery, 2 armoured cars actually, and all my archers, but the death sites continue on to the front lines. And you can see nothing really major happens here. My armoured cars destroy his artillery, and the infantry is not able to destroy his town hall because, well, it's infantry. Now the problem is that my death sites don't actually have good targets because they're spreading their units out, and their artillery is hanging back. This armoured car is 8 kills, and we just cannot kill it right now. It's almost dead, and it dies to the towers, luckily. The West Europe towers with 35 damage from the crossbow. But miss micro here from my army. I have 3 armoured cars here, which could be crucial if I just went round the long way and attacked here. Maybe attacking their economy would have worked, but would have been very difficult. You can see right now that our economies are quite good. I need to upgrade these houses and start spamming partisans, maybe. Which I do in a minute, I think, but I'm starting to use my iron in the north now and abandon these irons because they're too vulnerable to attacks. I'm keeping an army of archers here just in case the East Asia player tries to rush again, and you can see he will try rush again. But now they're hitting Platypus's town hall. I'm pulling my death sites back behind the towers, not within the towers. We've got bombards, more death sites. They outnumber us, and they've now started to counter us with the heavy artillery that is hanging back, and we just can't deal with. But you can see the rocket cannons are actually doing really well. They're the only thing stopping these tanks. And my death sights go in, they try to get rid of these howitzers and infantry swarms. And yeah, you can see Lion is being forced out of using these resources by ships that were produced by this player, I think. I actually don't know where those ships were produced. But yeah, lots of ships. I've got 4 death sights now. We've got quite a strong defense army here now, but their attack is just even bigger. They've got the tanks now. Like, this tank has been sat here for a really long time, taking a lot of fire. You can see the towers are doing what they can, but, you know, it's... There we go. We kill that. But at the same time, they destroy our vision tower. We're building a new one. I'm building a new one with my safest tower. And I start rushing with my archers to get rid of the bombards the best I can. I don't think I managed to kill one, unfortunately. Yeah, no, they didn't even shoot at them. But you can see I'm just sending swarms of archers as per Eastern European fashion. Using my partisans, building more houses for partisans there. And Platypus is now being fed metal just to repair, so he can build more towers. You can see he's trying to build towers. And we do push here. We managed to push them a little bit, because they don't have any death sights right now. But unfortunately the armoured cars are almost useless now, because of the shell shock thing, where they are slowed down by hits from artillery, making them really difficult to actually make use of against sniping artillery. And here, this is like the killing blow. You can see the East Asia player comes in and destroys the entire battery of rocket cannons. Like more than a dozen, 15 to 20 rocket cannons here destroyed, and my death sights are within the minimum range and can't do anything about this. Unfortunately, that's kind of spelling the end for our defensive force. I do have 5 death sights now in 1 cannon, which is much better than before, but you know, the death sights are going to die here to these units. My armoured cars do follow on and try to defend, but losing half my barracks, losing a lot of economy on that big push, which managed to kill a lot of their artillery, but none of the major units, so just the Berthas, the Onagers, and the Howitzers, they're all still alive. And you can see my death sights are rendered useless now, because the Ashigaru and so on are destroying them. We do have the workers and the partisans, but now the death sights can't really do much. They're just fighting the Chinese soldiers who are now going around the edge of the map. They're going to hit straight into our economy, and we're really getting swarmed now. But surprisingly, almost an hour in the game and we still haven't lost our player at the front line, although his working force is being destroyed by the Berthas. I don't get my towers up here in time, and unfortunately the militiamen managed to kill a few of my workers and stop my iron production. So we've also got flamethrowers and my archers, which I tried to do anything with, died. We've also got death sights now, quite a few of them. Luckily the East Asia player is only sending small attacks which are harassing, but you can see now that it's going to be a very quick fall because these Berthas are just massing up and all our defensive units are being swarmed by militiamen. You can get these death sights do what they can, but realistically they can't do anything with tanks. And it's kind of the end for Platypus. Unfortunately our frontline player there dies. Now Lion is our frontline player who hasn't repaired his town hall actually. And we're trying to form a bit of a defensive line here. We've got artillery within his base, I've got artillery next to his town hall, armoured cars, because I'm right after him. And funnily enough, I'm still harvesting iron here while their tanks are destroying his base. Unfortunately, we just can't get all these tanks that are stuck now. But one thing I can say is super satisfying is these 3 death sights dealing with an entire army of hand cannons, which is really beautiful. You can see that's like 10 hand cannons destroyed there, and they have quite a journey to walk. Luckily, the main artillery, the bulk of their artillery is now wasted destroying buildings over here, which are not going to hurt them. Lion's base is now destroyed as well, with his town hall being really the only significant bit standing. All his workers are dead. And you can see the swarms of Ashigaru over here as well. But my Death Scythe does manage to get a few shots off before it dies. More Death Scythes coming out, but no iron, so it's not really possible. You can see more hand cannons here. Partisans coming in to try and defend, but it is just too much. Especially with the Berthas sneaking in now, well not sneaking in, but barging in. And the time has come to start a tower spam around my base, hoping to delay them as much as possible. And with that, Lion is dead. Now his base is being taken apart by tanks, artillery, and they've even got some RPGs here. Everything I'm making is being sent into my base. I think I've got 2 Death Sites here, and that's kind of the brunt of my army. And I'm sending them over here to destroy this artillery. You can see that they're going to get a few shots off, destroy even more artillery from the East Asia player. I send my archers in to stall these tanks while I build up my machine gun towers while I still have an arsenal. I realised I did not get the ballistic sight upgrade, which I definitely should have gotten. But I overextended with these Death Scythes. I should have fallen back straight away, but the tanks cut me off, and the artillery from the north is cutting me off. Yeah, so right now all I'm relying on is partisans, archers, and towers. And I'm making factories here to build Death Scythes. I don't know if I'm getting my iron. I'm really not sure where my iron is coming from. Because I'm making iron. Ah, yeah. Sneaky iron, which I'm losing to 4 anyway. Yeah, you can see my arsenal is going to get hit next. They've got more flamethrowers, which are being destroyed by my machine gun towers. And still making Death Scythes, luckily. But yeah, now I've just got my buildings really. I can't produce any more towers because I don't have wood. I do send some workers onto stone here, and the arsenal is going to fall in a minute. You can see my workers are killing tanks over here, and the arsenal falls, meaning I cannot produce any more towers. And also with my iron, this boar killing all of my iron workers. I think I make 1 Death Scythe somewhere. I don't know if it comes out before I die, I can't remember now. But I did make a bombardier ship, and I'm very proud of that. We managed to kill a Death Scythe, I think some howitzers even, and he got 6 kills. So, bombardier ship being quite useful there, and my 1 Death Scythe. Unfortunately just not being able to do enough. I am repairing with 13 workers to try and give a last stand, and I do start firing against more of their artillery, and I do manage to hold out for a bit, but my workers do die, along with 15 of my workers to a ball. Pretty stereotypical in Warsaw again. And that is the end of the game. So, really quite a last stand there. Fighting retreat a lot, and a bit of failure, but a pretty interesting match I think. So thank you everyone for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.